You want to take your game to the next level? You want to be a world champion? Take the fighter training stack. Victor Conte's fighter training stack has brought me to the next level. Everything that I take on a daily basis. The fighter training stack is the best thing out right now. Devin Haney, I'm Snack Strong. Get it now, right now.
The Spence fight.
Man,
Does
dude.
he complicate things for Spence?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he does. But I think his downfall could very well be the volume. The volume of Spence. Just the consistency. He's so consistent with his offense. You know, he'll take that little short step back, then he'll come forward. You know, he'll clear some things, put the high guard up, and then he'll take a step forward and keep applying pressure. And it's times like Ugas can counter, but, you know, I would say he drops his hands quite a bit. You know, his hands by his wayside and stuff. And I think that, you know, Spence will be able to, being a more technical fighter, being a more complete fighter as far as, you know, physical. He's very physical on the inside, and he's smart. I think he's going to be able to figure him out.
Tim,
It's going to be about pressure, bro.
You
got to
stoppage?
make him know. No, I don't see a stoppage. I don't see a stoppage.
either.
Possible. It's a possible. See, I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to see 2.0 Pacquiao version of Ugas.
So Ugas we saw.
Let's give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more offense.
Yeah.
You know, if you give me a little bit more offense, then he can probably do something. But
What
if he
counters
stays,
him the whole night?
yeah, he can counter, but he's gonna need more offenses. It's in Texas. I mean, you already know he's already down on the scorecards. It's Texas, man. So Ugas got to do something, man.
I love Spence. You know, the one issue that I see with Spence is that sometimes he takes his time too much. You know, he's very mechanical sometimes. And Ugas is a fighter who can just throw punches and bunches.
Fluid.
Very fluid. He moves around. I mean, we saw him with Pacquiao. That'll be a very interesting fight. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's a 50-50 fight. I have to go with Spence because of the experience and the punching power, the IQ, but it's a good fight.
Spence beating him up, maybe stop him, maybe not, but I feel like he's gonna go to his body a lot, and I feel like Spence is a better fighter.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a close fight, or do you think it'll be one-sided?
No, I think it'll be one-sided. I don't think that. I think Ugas is a great fighter, but stylistically, Spence gonna get it.
That fight, it's gonna be a very competitive fight. You know, they're both world champions at 147. They're both gonna go into take those belts home. So I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight. I would give the edge to Spence, but you know, just a slight edge. You know, Ugas is there to win. You know, and he's a very good fighter. So I'm not counting him out, but I'm excited to see what happens. I think it depends on Ugas. I feel like Ugas would have to be the one to put on the pressure on Errol. I think Errol will kind of navigate his way around Ugas, trying to see what's working and all that stuff. But I feel like it's going to go to distance. I feel like, yes.
A lot of people don't give Ugas like credit. Like they
Yeah.
overlook him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't overlook him. You know, he's a good fighter. He's a world champion for a reason. So, and like I said, I'm not overlooking him. I just give Spence a slight edge, but only a slight.
See, yeah, because like you asked me, and like some people would be like, because I told someone like, I think that's like close to a 50-50 fight. And they're like, no way, really?
Yeah.
Like Ugas?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like they don't understand like the skills that Ugas brings. Like even though like
They don't.
Errol's skillful, but like
Yeah.
Ugas is just as skillful.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think what they're seeing is that Errol probably the bigger, stronger guy. But you know, Ugas, I feel like that dude has range. First of all, you know, he could possibly be jabbing Errol, keeping him out, vice versa. Because you know, Errol likes to use his jab as well and keep people out. He's a southpaw. You know, that's typically what they do. But Ugas has skills of his own.
What's the style?
I think Ugas' style is tricky, is unconventional, and so it gives people problems. As you saw, you know, it gave Manny Pacquiao problems. You know what I mean? So it was Manny Pacquiao that he fought. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, right. Make sure you edit that because I go and I was very surprised, but because he's awkward and he's not conventional, you know, it works for him, you know. So and then you got Errol Spence as a southpaw, but we don't know how he's gonna be able to deal with, you know, Ugas's unconventional style. So, you know, it's gonna be a great fight. I'm excited to see it.
When you look at it, because it's Errol Spence and he has a big name and he has two of the belts, a lot of people feel like, oh, he's gonna win. But do you feel that Ugas is a
don't sleep on Ugas.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Don't sleep on Ugas.
Right.
Don't, because Ugas.
I feel like maybe some fans might because.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Manny Pacquiao might have slept on Ugas.
Yeah.
You know, and I get this guy out of here. Definitely, I don't think that Ugas is anybody that they need to sleep on.
Do you think it goes all 12 rounds? Do you think
I think it was 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a knockout.
You know, Ugas, he's got a lot of momentum right now. Been a little bit of inactivity with Spence, but Spence is he's a dangerous dude. You know, I've been around him a long time throughout the amateurs. He's a workhorse, and you know, there's not many things that can break him, as you can see thus far. So, you know, I'm leaning towards Spence, but Ugas, he's a great fighter, and you know, who's to say that Ugas can't get in there and do his thing? So, you know, it's a great fight. It's great for boxing, and the fans are going to win.
A great fight. Spence coming off another layoff. I think Ugas going to try to start fast because Spence come off their layoff. But I think Spence going to win a close fight, like split decision. Yeah, I think it's going to be a close decision only because Ugas going to try to win a lot of early rounds, and I think Spence going to try to pick it up towards the end and try to, you know, like break Ugas down.
You get the winner?
Yeah, hopefully I get the winner. That's what I want. Give me the winner. I feel like at least should be able to get one of those guys this year. Like I said, it's out of my hands. You know, those guys want to fight each other. They don't want to fight somebody like me, like up and coming and stuff like that. They want to fight other champions or stuff like that. So
right.
I don't know. We'll see and see how it play out. But you know, after I do my thing, you know, in April, and you know, and hopefully I get the winner.
No.
Whoever won out of that fight.
How do you see that fight?
I think Spence.
Spence?
Spence, yeah, man.
Tricky fight, or it's going to be a fight where he
I
really
think
shows his
Spence.
skills?
I think Spence is a different animal. But I like Ugas, man.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Ugas pulls it off.
Yeah.
But I think Spence is the guy.
If you look at our fight, if you look at the punch dash, we landed the same amount of power punches, and we both threw more than 700 punches. The only difference was he threw more jabs than me. So, like when I say the difference in the jab was not that he beat me up with the jab, it's just he threw more. He was more effective than me, and that. If you look at the punch dash, that's kind of the only difference on the copy box is the jabs. But me and Ugas, we got a different style. You know, Ugas has a good jab himself, and he goes to the body well. I think that's gonna be a good competitive fight. But I think the difference in the fight is probably gonna be like a knockdown.
Right.
That's how I see it. I feel like the difference in the fight is gonna be a knockdown by Spence.
But it's kind of like the same thing that happened with Porter, where they were kind of like neck and neck, and then, you know, the 10-8 round kind of put him over the top type of thing.
I think it was gonna be something like that, but less drama. Like that was like a Porter makes any fight hard. He throws a lot of punches, so and he's awkward. I don't think Ugas is awkward. Like if you look at Ugas and even Porter, that was a tough fight, and Porter makes a hard fight for anybody. So, but I think that fight, I think that's a good matchup. Good matchup, and two champions going head to head. Ugas is hungry. I can even see him maybe even winning it.
Yeah.
Like I said before, but I just feel like if he doesn't get knocked down at least once in the fight, it'll be a close fight. But I think that's going to be the difference in the fight. Yeah, when they first switched the opponent, when Spence first said he was hurt, I thought Pacquiao and Spence would have been a better fight only because Spence, I think stylistically works a little bit better for Pacquiao. When I heard that Ugas was coming in, I knew automatically it was going to be a harder fight for Pacquiao because Ugas fights off distance.
Right.
He has that Cuban style boxing where they use distance, and I knew that it was going to be hard for Pacquiao to get in on him. And that was the difference. Pacquiao couldn't get off on him because Ugas controlled the distance with he was touching him with the jab. He was touching him to the body from the outside. He was throwing those looping right hands. And he looked a lot bigger than Manny.
Right.
And he just controlled the fight off distance. And he kind of schooled Manny.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be a harder fight for Manny than Spence. I called it. I said Ugas was going to beat him.
I think Spence.
Okay.
Because even after the the accident and all that. And I still, in that one fight he fought recently, I thought he looked pretty good. And
Versus Danny Garcia.
I think he can do even better.
So you still say there's a mega fight in the looming in the future between Crawford and Spence? It looks like it's unavoidable.
It's really hard to make with one guy being with a different guy. It is difficult to make a chess. That's one thing I don't like about boxing. I want everyone to be fighting everybody and have one world champion, not 3 or 4.
Oh, he will. He'll give Errol a run for his money in the early rounds. I think the most Ugas will give Errol Spence is maybe 4 or 5 rounds. He'll give him trouble. But once Errol Spence starts figuring him out, it'll be a totally different fight. There'll be a big change in the fight. I mean, I can tell you this. Manny Pacquiao was training for who was he supposed to fight? For Errol Spence. He was supposed to fight Errol, right? And I think it was a week or 2 weeks before that, he gets hurt. I think he had an eye injury, and right away they switched to Ugas. It's basically I think Ugas is a right-hander.
No, he's southpaw.
Southpaw?
Yeah.
And Errol's a southpaw?
Southpaw, yeah.
So the thing is, there's changes in there. You're training for one style and switching it to another style, it's completely different. I just think that at the same time, Manny Pacquiao, it was just a matter of time. Age was going to kick in. Manny Pacquiao's footwork was not there. I saw Manny Pacquiao's agility and footwork was not there that night. Obviously, Ugas is he knows how to use his reach. He's very consistent with the jab and frustrated Manny. But, against an Errol Spence in his prime is going to be a different ballgame. This fight plays out to be for Errol, in my opinion. Yordenis Ugas, he's an older fighter. He's already, he's a veteran in the sport. He's had a lot of wars already. I mean, just the fact that he beat Manny Pacquiao doesn't mean that he's gonna go in there and beat up on a young, strong, physically strong Errol Spence. It's gonna play out really good stylistically, but I just think that at the end, Errol Spence's youth and strength will take the fight.
You think based on what you saw from the Danny Garcia fight and coming into this fight that Errol is 100%, like he's the same Errol that he was before the accident?
Well, he's not going to be 100% the same, but, he's working on it. Obviously it's a scar that it will never heal forever mentally. Physically it will, but mentally he's always there. But he's getting better, as time goes. Every fight, as long as he stays active, eventually he's going to fade away. But he is getting better. After the accident, I was expecting to see a different Errol Spence, but we really didn't see, much difference. He's coming back. He's strong. He knows, he wasn't really affected physically. Mentally, if he was a little bit, little by little as it goes, it starts fading away and he'll be back on track.
I would think coming into this fight, though, that Ugas would go ahead and target the eye that was injured and where Errol had the surgery, you would think, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you can target the eye. You can target the eye as much as you want, but I just feel that if he's allowed to fight, he's 100% ready, because I don't think a doctor nowadays for boxing, believe me, physicals are very strict. I don't think he will step in the ring with an eye at 50% or at 60%. He has to be 100%. Even though Ugas decides to target that eye, it's still, he's fighting for a reason, which means that he's 100% and shouldn't be a problem.
I don't think Errol Spence really wants to fight Terence Crawford, in all honesty. I think he's going to fight Ugas. Those guys have got to just lose, I guess, a little bit of the chip on the shoulder to think they're bigger than each other. Like, it's a 50-50 split. Of course it is. I did more pay-per-view. Fuck. Like, just neither of you are massive draws on your own. Fight each other if you want to prove who's the best, if you truly believe you can win.
I think Spence got something to prove. It seemed like he got a chip on his shoulder. He's tired of people talking about him. I think he got something to prove. I think it's going to be a good fight because Ugas is red hot, but if I had to pick, I would take Errol Spence. He got a real good, tricky right hand. He throws it, loop it, he throws it up under, he throws it straight. He's a good fighter. A lot of the Cubans are southpaws, so he's used to fighting a lot of southpaws. So, but I think Errol, think Earl got something to prove. I think, I think it's a close fight, but if you asking me, I would favor Earl.
I think this is a great fight. Everybody, you guys don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. It is a great fight. Like, that's the truth. I know, but like, you guys want to know, well, Shawn, you fought them both. Like, who's got the more power, and who's stronger, and who's faster, who's got the better game plan, and better boxer, so on and so forth. I think styles make fights, and we'll have a classic case right here of styles making fights. The cool thing I like is that I think Ugas has thrown a little wrinkle in his game, and I'm curious to see what Ugas comes to the ring on fight night. You know,
What do you think? Which one?
What's that?
Which
I don't know. Which Ugas is the best?
Yeah, to come in the fight night.
So when I say the of course I'm speaking about the Ugas that fought Pacquiao. That Ugas is different from, I would say, any Ugas we've seen before that. That Ugas added more boxing. Was very selective with his punching. Didn't wait too long. Didn't get out hustled by Manny or anything like that at all. He was very smart and picked his moments very, very well. And I think that while Errol is a different boxer, Errol is not Manny Pacquiao. Errol is not going to fight in spurts, or at least we don't expect him to. I think that while, in my personal opinion, the Ugas that fought Pac is the better Ugas of the two, I think it's going to take a mix of both to beat Errol. You guys, don't forget, I said it's going to take everything that I have to beat Errol Spence, and that included boxing him from the outside and fighting him on the inside. Clearly, clearly Ugas can do that, you know.
If he counters him the way he did Manny, do you think it's stylistically better for him?
To start?
Yeah.
To start?
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, again, we're talking about EJ. And we're talking about Derrick James. Derrick James is going to see what's going on, and he'll say, all right, do this, do that. And Errol Spence is going to implement the game plan and also the adjustments. So that's why I think this really is. It's one of those great fights. You know, there's been fights in the past where I really didn't want to make predictions because, to me, it didn't matter who won. I think at the end of the night, it was going to be a great night. I'm a fan of Yordenis because he's a really good person. And, you know, for me, that goes a long ways, goes beyond the boxing. So before getting in the ring with him, I could see his passion. I could see his desire to be exactly where he is right now. So it's one thing to fight against a guy, but then, you know, game recognize game, real recognize real, and outside of the ring, I recognize he's a really good person. So I just really wanted to come see him today.
You sharing the ring with Ugas, how do you make of him matching up with Errol, and what do you make of that fight?
I think it's a good fight, man. I gave Ugas a lot of shot to beating him. You know, I lean towards Spence a little bit just because of his youth, man. But Ugas has a lot of experience, man. He's a very experienced fighter, very tricky fighter, and yeah, man. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think their styles are great for each other.
What do you feel that Spence needs to look out for? Like, what are those tricky things that you noticed that Ugas did in the ring that us watching wouldn't normally notice?
Yeah, man. I think his counter punches, man. He'll be up close to you, and then, you know, all of a sudden you think you got him right there, and then boom, he comes up with a hard counter punch. You know, I think that's his strongest point.
You were able to have success by pressuring him and just constant toque. You know, like touch.
Yeah, man. And every now and then he would counter punch me. He got me with a good body shot. I remember. I think it was the third round. And that's when I started having more caution, you know, because I feel that's the strongest point, those counter punches.
How is his punch? Like, how hard of a hitter is he?
He's a pretty decent. He's not heavy-handed, but he's got good power.
Yeah, because you saying that, you know, that the punch made you respect, you know, his power and made you kind of adjust your plan. But I'm thinking, like, Spence is such a big guy, like he's strong. Like, is Spence gonna just walk through some of these punches to get to him?
Man, I mean, he could, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, man, because he's got enough power to maybe catch you with a punch, and that's the fight. But I mean, Spence is strong, man. Spence is strong. He's a pressure fighter. He throws a lot of punches, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards him a little bit more.
Errol Spence against Yordenis Ugas. Break that down for us.
Errol Spence smashed him.
Wow, you think he's completely smashed him? Why?
Errol Spence is. Listen, I look at the pedigree of the talent. I believe from the last few fights beyond the pullout, beyond the pullout, I believe he know he has to make statements every time he fight. Good for us, bad for his opponent. Period. He's in the mix of big conversations. Do you think they ain't all listening? He know he must look damn near perfect, if not perfect, every fight. There's no room for error. From what I see, he handled that very, very well.
You guys surprised me with that Pacquiao fight, man. He surprised me a lot, and I feel like if he can do the same to Spence, I think Spence is gonna have a long night with him.
Are you picking Ugas to win? Do you feel he does win? He's able to win, or do you think Errol's jab, his boxing, might be a little too much like his size as well?
Yeah, I think he is a little big for him. I think he's stronger and he's always there. But like I said, if Ugas can fight the whole fight the way he fought Pacquiao, I think he can pull it off. He's got what it takes to pull it off.
Errol doesn't have the same kind of confidence that he once had. He's going through multiple layers of bad things. Bad things as in like, okay, he get hurt this, he get hurt that. It's like, is he going to survive camp? Because surviving camp is hard. You know, surviving sparring is hard. You know, surviving strength conditioning is hard. Just look at what happened in this fight with Ortiz. Just surviving camp might be too hard for him. You know, he's definitely going to have to scale it down. Is he going to be prepared for a 12-round war against somebody that could possibly beat him? Ugas is not coming in there. He wants to win, you know, and he's on the road right now. He's on the roll, and I just, from the outside looking in, stylistically, Errol Spence is supposed to win. But from the outside looking in, seeing like the heart between the two guys, I think Ugas just might pull it off. It'll be something stupid might happen, and then all of a sudden he'll mess around and win. That's just what I see so far. It's a possibility.
Do you question his heart, or if he? I know you're saying that you have questions about if he's still the same, but do you question his heart now?
Errol Spence? Yeah, absolutely. I question his heart, and I question his dedication, and I question like how much more is it going to take for him to like get himself back to where he was. Like we look, the fans want to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Why is that not happening? I cannot say that that's not happening because of Terrence Crawford. Without a doubt, I just can't say that.
Yeah, so, you know, Errol trying to pin down Ugas might not be an easy task. You know, and Ugas, we never really seen him sit on the ropes a lot. So Errol dominates very well when fighters end up being pinned up on the ropes. He throws some nice body shots mixed in with a nice hook up top, and then he'll give you that hook up, you know, he can give you that hook up top and the solar plex shot, or the body shot with the hook up top. And he's got real good mix up game when he got fighters on the ropes. You know, Ugas, we've seen him with his Cuban style spacing. You know, he's a slow starter. I think both fighters are slow starters, and they're both good finishers. So I really think the fight's going to get started in the 7th round. Real talk. I think the fight's going to happen from round 6, 7, 8, and 9. I think those are going to be where the fight is won. So hopefully both fighters don't do too little in the opening rounds. You got to see who really wants to take it from the opening rounds, but just seeing their styles, I think they're gonna warm up and then get the engine going
like a horse race.
And then at the end of the day, who knows? It might go all the way to that final bell, you know, because this is the biggest fight of both fighters' careers. And when the fight really gets started, neither one's going to be able to stop till it's all said and over. So I don't expect for a quick start, but I expect for a very strong finish from both of these fighters. It's just in their making. Ugas, we saw him do a little bit more against Pacquiao. You know, he fought Shawn Porter. He didn't get the decision. He's fell short from victory on a night that he was capable of winning. We saw tremendous skill from him. We saw him backing Shawn up, and Shawn not being capable of doing a lot in the fight. But because he was the champion, he threw flurries from time to time. Ugas let him off the ropes countless number of times. Ugas just didn't get the victory in the judges' eyes. Fans have an opinion, but we got to impress these judges, right? So he's been scorned. He's been scorned in that fashion. And I think he knows that if you want to be champion of the world, you got to let these hands go, and you got to do something for the fans, for the judges, and for everybody in the world to say you are the champion. So if he really wants to put it down for Cuba, I don't know the statistics. I've been questioning them. You should do your research. It's going to be something to talk about. Has there ever been an undisputed Cuban champion in the history of boxing?
No, there hasn't.
There hasn't. This is a monumental moment right here, right now. That's what boxing is all about. That's what I love about boxing, is boxing history and finding newfound barriers. I always talk about how Manny Pacquiao, what he brought to the sport. He brought a whole country, the Philippines, and now they love boxing. They can't get enough of boxing, so it's just tremendous what a singular athlete can do for his nation, put him on the map. Yordenis Ugas is going to be having the Cubano flag flying over him very high, very prideful, leading up into this match. And he should. And he should carry the pride of his ancestors and walk into that ring and show his warrior spirit to the best of his potential.
But I know Ugas is a really good fighter.
Yeah, really technical.
Technical. So.
What did you think about when he fought Manny?
Yeah, he was so big. Big and technical. It's like a hard fight for. If Manny was younger, he would have been able to have more energy to keep going. But he just passed his time.
Spence is a guy that's probably as big as him, very technical. I don't know, do you feel people are writing off Ugas a little bit?
Yeah, I would say. Ugas is always going to be a difficult fight for anybody. He beat Shawn Porter, but they gave it to Shawn. But he's hard to. It's like, right? He's Cuban.
Guy.
That's why.
I don't see him tricky at all. I think y'all putting too much emphasis on that. Most Cuban fighters, they move a lot. They use angles. They stay on their feet and their toes. And Ugas not even that. Like, he's a guy that try to fight. He wants to fight, and he wants to trade shots and things like that. So, I wouldn't say he's just crazy tricky. Like, Bernard Hopkins is a tricky fighter. I wouldn't put him up there with Bernard Hopkins, so, I think people just put too much emphasis on being a tricky fighter. I never seen him do anything tricky except his left overhand. That's the only thing he really does. It's not like he dropping his hands, weaving shots and stuff like that. So, y'all got to tell me what he does that's tricky. Well, I boxed Mikey Garcia. I banged with Kell Brook. I banged with Shawn Porter. I boxed with Lamont, but still stood in the paint with him, sucking punches and countering shots and stuff like that. So, I don't stand right in front of the opponents either. So, am I tricky too?
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.